Now, of course, one of the important bands from the DC punk scene is Scream, and you have a relationship with the Foo Fighters. So, did your relationship with the Foo Fighters start through Scream?
Yeah, it did. It started through Scream. I stopped in a couple of their practices with the different drummers, including Dave Grohl when they was there. And I know Pete Stahl pretty well. He lives on the West Coast, and his brother Franz, and basically when Dave was he finished with Nirvana, he asked me to we could do some demos together, and he didn't have a name for the band yet, but he wanted to do some demo songs and enlist some people to play in the band. So we recorded some demos together, and this is I forgot how many years ago, so we sort of kept on the relationship. I think it's just a musical relationship, which isn't super close, but he lives on the West Coast, of course, and and I live here, and they're all good people. I mean, I try to stick with good people.
So, having recorded the original Foo Fighters demo, what was that experience like? How were the sessions?
I think Dave had his sister play bass. He played drums, and he played bass and guitar and sang. And what happened was basically it was extremely laid back in the sense that being the producer that he was at the time, he had to produce it. He had to play on all the instruments except for the bass. He had to sort of figure out the songs as it went along. He couldn't become too stressed out or too intense in any one area. And what I saw was when he wanted to play, he had a wireless guitar thing. He basically sat in an easy chair and played guitar parts.
Okay, so you mentioned now that his sister was at the sessions. Did anybody else from Dave Grohl's family show up?
His mother came down for the Foo Fighters sessions, and I talked to her for a little while. But that's all. When they were Scream, they lived in a group house in Springfield. And so, and a lot of musical groups do, but they had a group house there that they lived in all together, made it easy to practice and all that.
Hey, that's cool. Yeah. So what was Dave like as a person, just if you remember?
It was great. He was great. He's a nice guy. Real nice guy. And like I said, very, very low stress in the sense that he knew what he was going for. He knew what he wanted, but he wasn't like jittery to get it and to make you get it or to go along with him. He'll get there. He'll get there. When he wanted to sing, I can't even remember how he did it, but it may have been just a microphone sitting in front of the console singing. It wasn't the type of thing where you think about, okay, let's do it all the traditional ways, and we must do it in this way, and we must have the best microphones and the most acoustic settings for these things. It was more like, let's get the part down. Let's listen to it. If it isn't to our liking or if it doesn't sound the way we want, well, we could do it again. This is a recording studio.
Yeah.
And that's a nice attitude to take where, a creative person could actually just do stuff, keep doing stuff. Sometimes I get frustrated because people want to copy like a chorus to a song vocally or something. Well, man, if you're a musician, if you're a singer, just do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
That's what you're here to do. And you might even do it better than the first time, or you might have a different kind of take on it, and it may sound different, and people will like that. I mean, nowadays, I think people enjoy having little tidbits of reality in stuff, which are, in other words, basically saying little mistakes or things where things slip in. And if you could do that, you can keep people's interests.
Yeah, I think you're totally correct on that. And I personally love it when you hear mistakes, right? Like just going to Nirvana for a second, some of their iconic moments are when Kurt slips up on a recording, but they keep that slip up in there. You know what I mean? It gives it that real feeling.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you were saying that, the session was unique for various reasons. Because it was so not cookie cutter, did you ever feel like this might not go so well or this might come out amazing? Like, was there ever any kind of feeling like that?
No, no, not in the least. One other thing, I mean, good musicians, I was going to say professional musicians, but, not all of them are professional. Some of them are amateur musicians, but they do it very, very well, is they have kind of a routine, but it's a flexible routine. And they know if they sort of follow along through these things, they will get results one way or another. So there was never any question about if it was going to come out correctly. I mean, songs aside, it was going to come out correctly. If the song was bad, okay, it might not have sounded that good. No, people might not have listened to it, but it didn't. And the songs basically came out to their liking because they kept at just pushing ahead. Hey, this is good, but, let's try this with there and, try this and try this. A lot of trial and error. Like I said, it's a routine, but it's a very flexible routine where you're in your lane, but that doesn't mean you have to be in the center of the lane exactly all the time. You could veer a little to the left and a little to the right, but you get there. You definitely get there. And that's what people have to realize. You can get there like that. And you have to just sort of be less stressed out about getting it done a certain way, or using a certain amp, or using a certain guitar, or using a certain drum set, or heads on the drums, or a microphone, anything. There's no, it matters less. It does matter, but it matters less.
Mm-hmm. That's a great piece of advice. It resonates with not just musicians, but even as a filmmaker, what you're saying is so true. It's like you can have an idea of where you want to go, but you have to just go with the flow because life throws itself at you, and you can't plan out life 100%, right?
Sure. I mean, remember there was one Italian filmmaker whose name slips by me right now, who during the war he had to basically splice together slide film to make reels of film for him, and that's how he put together reels of film for things. And you just do what you have to do, and you don't worry about hey, this isn't the way it's done.
Yeah,
you do it.
Yeah, 100%. After that demo, did you have any sort of working relationship with Dave, or like how did you move forward essentially with them?
Well, no, I didn't, because they moved to the West Coast.
Gotcha. Okay.
And, I would record where I need to live, mainly. That's why I record a lot of local musicians, because they don't usually go to LA to record. It's just inconvenient in a lot of ways. Plus, you want to go home at the end of the night, and you want to sleep in your own bed, so that you record there. So that's the thing. I mean, it's I don't see it as a slight in the least. That's what I would do. I would record nearby where I live.
I've always been curious when Nirvana, took off with Nevermind, when Dave Grohl had just, recently joined the band about a year earlier. What was the feeling in the Scream camp? Were they shocked by it? Were they happy for him? Like, what was the general feeling?
I don't know. We never talked about it too much. Remember, one of the attributes of I guess punk music, but it's probably any kind of music. I know punk music, the musicians were changing around all the time. They would leave bands, form bands, reform, get into other bands. It would shift continually. The personnel was just a moving target. And so I don't think they thought too much about him leaving for Nirvana. I mean, he saw a opportunity. He saw a good songwriter, and someone who had good stage presence. And that was, hey, fine. If you think that's going to work, do it. Why hold him back? It's not like, he signed a contract with Scream that, we're going to play here for, the next 10 years together or something.
Yeah. No, I hear you. How did your personal relationship start with Scream?
I recorded them. I can't remember how how we met or something like that. I know there's a couple people that knew them, and we recorded some things, and that was about it. Starting the recording process and recording some songs together brings you really close together. It unites ideas. You figure out how people think. Of course, see their personalities, you see their composure and their behavior and things like that. So, you become a family for the time you're recording together.
Mm-hmm. And do you have this is just a general question, but do you have any funny stories from your time working with bands, like anything that sticks out?
There's all kinds of little things that went on. I mean, there was one time I think we were mixing a song and we erased the first couple snare beats off a song and had to put them back on. And it's, no one ever knew any difference about the thing. There's things where things worked very strangely, sometimes very startlingly good in a way. I mean, there's nothing funny, I guess, stories, but there's just anecdotes, really. I mean, it really is life.
So just going to yourself personally, what's the most rewarding part of your job?
Man, having something come out that just makes everybody smile. I mean, you could just feel it. I mean, especially when you're getting close to that. And it's usually at the mixing stage, but, during the other stages of the whole recording process, it comes out too that things are going along not only the way you thought they would, but more better.
Yeah, more better. Is there any one record you worked on that just means something special to you?
No. I love them all. I just love just digging into them and recording all of them. Really, I just love it. I love doing it.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe for more because there is a lot more to come. All the videos on my channel are original. I'm the one filming, editing, and conducting all the interviews. So if you guys like what you see and you want to support, the best way to do so is honestly just to subscribe. Thanks for watching.